name is Nicole. I'm a producer for the Remembering Them podcast. The podcast is a platform for people to share stories and memories of their loved ones who have passed away. The podcast was created in memory of Dad, Bob Cecil. May he rest in peace. Your host, Mark, Ryan, and Luke acknowledge the rich history and importance of storytelling within the indigenous culture.
My name is Jorgi Skeen, and I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet here today. Today we're meeting in Angelyn, and those traditional owners are the Yagara and Turrbal people. And I'd also like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge my people, the Gubbi Gubbi people, and extend that acknowledgement to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening in today.
Hello, Luke. Welcome back to the podcast.
Morning, Mark. Thanks for having me, mate.
No Ryan today. Actually, today it's a little bit different. We've got a request, which is interesting. We don't get many requests for people. We're normally chasing people to come on, but we did reach out to our guest today, and I believe there's a birthday coming up, and she was hoping for the release to come out before the end of August. So we're going to slot this in, and if you're a regular listener, you'll notice that we'll try and slot this episode in, and then it'll knock out a few of the other dates. So with our intros, as you know, we talk about international days of celebration. So if you're listening to this and the other ones following it are out of whack, don't come at us. It's just because we've slotted this recording in. So the other ones will be slightly on different dates of release. But today of record is the 20th of August that we're recording this particular episode. And it's Ryan. You'll notice he hasn't said hello because Ryan is not here today. Today, rather than doing an international day, it's actually our middle brother's birthday. Won't disclose how old he is. He's nearly into his 40s, I think. But that's So that's where Ryan is, Luke, and only yourself today. We mustn't have got the invite to that celebration.
Must be nice, mate. Must be nice. So happy birthday and congratulations on your creeping into your 40s, mate. I know he's not there yet. I don't know if he's even a listener, but happy birthday. I'm sure we'll speak to him at some point.
Yeah, and enjoy the celebrations with Ryan, which is why Ryan can't be here today. Luke, 3 guesses for you as always to where our guest is from today. We're after a city you definitely have heard of. I'm positive about that. Clue number 1, play along at home for our listeners, see if you can guess where our guest is from. Clue number 1, 7-Eleven was born here. The world's first convenience store is generally credited to this city's location. Originally called an ice house, which is glad they changed that name, which began selling groceries and other essentials alongside ice.
World's first 7-Eleven, eh? I'm getting flashbacks. This is a you and Ryan segue. But remember the Simpsons episode when Apu goes to the very first Quickie Mart?
Yes.
It's giving that vision. It's up the top of a hill.
I think it was in Nepal or something like that.
It's like the Himalayas or something.
Yeah.
Is it Himalayas?
It's not. No, that's not the city. Clue. I'll give you a second clue. This might help you.
Please.
Maybe not. This city once held the world's largest collection of skyscrapers. During its boom years in the 1970s through to the 1990s, this city regularly ranked among the world's leading cities for the number of skyscrapers exceeding 150 meters tall. 7-Eleven and skyscrapers.
Skyscrapers in the 70s and did you say 70s, 80s, 90s?
Yep, 70s through to the 90s.
It gives me LA. It gives me LA vibes.
Not LA. Third and final clue. This may help you. This might bring it a little bit closer to your guesses. This city isn't actually an oil city in the way the TV makes it look. The famous TV series of the city's name, insert city name, made the city seem like it was sitting on top of oil wells, but its historic economic foundations were much more strongly tied to cotton, railroads, commerce, and finance. So there's a TV show with the city's name.
Man, I can't even think. When was the? Can I get another hint? When was the TV show?
It's pretty old, actually.
Okay, great. Yep.
I don't know. I didn't watch it, to be fair.
Great. So what are we talking? 60s, 70s again?
No, I don't know. Not that old. I think
90s.
maybe. Well, there's 14 seasons of this show. I just quickly looked it up. 1978 it started. 1978 to 1991. Yeah, so it is
terrible clues. Terrible. I wasn't even alive, mate.
You were in 91.
Far out. I've just got nothing. I've got
this city. You would have heard. I'm pretty sure you would have heard of this TV show as well. Dallas. Dallas, Texas is where we're at. It's a sprawling city known for its cowboy culture, towering skyline, as I mentioned, Tex-Mex cuisine, and assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. Our guest today works alongside a non-profit organization against gun violence. She's single and has 2 daughters. One we'll be talking about today. Something not many people would know about her is that she's worked with another non-profit organization before, and just in general likes helping people that she doesn't know. Our guest from Dallas in Texas is Marcela Nino. So welcome to the Remembering Them podcast officially. Marcela, thank you very much for joining us all the way over from Dallas in Texas.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you working out the time, and I mentioned in the intro, we're on a little bit of a time crunch, but we'll make it happen. We talked about it off camera as well, that I understand it's a birthday or a couple of birthdays coming up, and that probably segues nicely into who we're actually talking about and remembering today. If you'd like to tell us who that special person is, the birthday they've got coming up, and what happened to that loved one.
Okay, we're talking about my youngest daughter, Angelyn. She was 17 years old. Her birthday, when she was 17 years old when she passed away. Her birthday is August 30th. And my birthday is actually August 31st. So, yeah, our birthdays are coming up. What happened with her, she passed away on March 23rd, 2025 at Trinity Grove Overlook Park from gun violence. She was actually an innocent bystander. She was actually at home like at 3 a.m. and then, until 3 a.m. And then the guy came and picked her up. He convinced her to go out. And so they went to the park, and there was an altercation with 2 other groups that had nothing to do with them. So those people started arguing, and they started just shooting, and they shot everyone that was there, everywhere and everyone. Sorry. So they started shooting, and there was about 50 people or more at the park. And out of those 50 people, she was the only casualty. She had nothing to do with the altercation. She did not know these people. She was actually only there for maybe 30 minutes or less or more, but it was not an hour. She was only there for a little bit. She had left a house. They went to go pick up a girl and then headed towards downtown to the park, to the Trinity Grove Overlook Park. And they were there for a couple of minutes, and everything just escalated. And she was actually leaving. She was actually leaving the park when this happened. She was already walking to a car to leave. And when this happened, she was only there a couple of minutes. Also, what people don't know, because I was, so distraught about everything that happened, I never really mentioned that she was wearing my pajamas. She wasn't out, full makeup, full glam. She was actually wearing my pajama pants. later on, we found out that she was wearing my pajama pants. She was wearing her best friend's sweater. She had other things on her, but all of them were from the people that she loved the most. She had her sister's Crocs on.
How did you find out, Marcela? What was obviously it's the early hours of the morning. Was it police or was it someone at the park? How were you notified?
So I actually, the night before, the day before, I had woken up really early. I had gone to the gym with my oldest. Her name's Eileen. And I was tired. I usually had stayed up at night. I have insomnia. I have problems sleeping. And if I know that that Angelyn's gonna stay at home, even if I'm not sick, I'll just go to sleep. I'm okay to go to sleep. So that night, she had told me that she was gonna stay at home. I asked her before I fell asleep. I said, Angelyn, I don't feel good. You're gonna stay at home, or are you gonna do something? And she was in the pajamas, which I vaguely remember. I really don't remember what she was wearing. The only reason I do is because what they told me later on. She said that she was going to stay at home. So I fell asleep early. I woke up. As soon as I woke up, I immediately looked for her. I didn't even get up and go look for her. I don't know if I knew, my soul knew, my heart knew something was wrong, but I looked at her location, and her location was at the hospital. And so I called the hospital, and I asked him, like, it says that my daughter is there. And they said, no, we're sorry, we don't have anybody by that name. And I think I kind of knew, but I just kept trying to convince myself, she's okay. She's there visiting a friend. Something happened. Maybe they got into a small car accident or something, and everything's okay. I called her older sister. I messaged her older sister, and I was like, your sister's at the hospital. Her sister has her location as well. So we were both looking at it. After a while, her sister did message me in the afternoon and was like, she's still there. Mom, she's still there. But I told her I already called the hospital. They didn't mention having someone there. Maybe I should go. Well, by this time, we hung up, and the homicide detectives knocked on my door. As soon as they knocked on my door, I still wanted to say, no, it would, nothing happened to my kid. So I opened the door, and they didn't really say much that I remember. I was just like, this is about Angelyn, right? And they were like, well, are you Angelyn's mother? And I said, yes, I'm Angelyn's mother. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, I'm Angelyn's mother. Give me a second.
Yeah, so the homicide detectives knocked on your door. You were still convinced that Angelyn was at the hospital.
I wanted to convince myself that she was at the hospital visiting a friend, because if she didn't, I really do believe that in my heart I knew that something wasn't right, but I didn't want to believe it. I called her. I believe I called her. She didn't answer. And I had texted her phone before the detectives got here. And I have never texted her that way. I text her, please come home. I didn't say, where are you? What happened? I just said, please come home. So when they came and they knocked on my door, I didn't really, I guess they let me talk first, and I just asked them, she's okay. Like, you're here because of Angelyn, right? And they said, yes. And I said, she's okay though. There was just an accident. One of her friends is in the hospital and she's fine. And they just looked at me like, how do you know? Or what do you know? So they just said, can we come inside? And then my heart started feeling like something was really horribly wrong. And I didn't know what to say. So I just said, no, can you just tell me right now, like, what's going on? And they said, well, we need you. What was she wearing when she left? And I said, honestly, I don't know. I fell asleep. I was feeling sick. I fell asleep early. I usually fall asleep late. But she told me she was not going to go out, and I fell asleep. So I cannot tell you. I can't be certain of what she was wearing. And he said, okay, well, is this her phone? And he showed me her phone. And I said, yes. And he said she was wearing red sweatpants, kind of like pajamas. And I said, I already knew. He said they had a figure on it. And I said, Rudolph. And he said, yeah, that was her. And I said, okay, well, what happened? And he said, there was an altercation. She was not involved. She was a bystander, and unfortunately, she passed away. I just fell to the ground and I started crying and yelling. But then I thought, I was like, maybe she's okay. Maybe it's not her. Maybe she dropped her phone. There could have been another little girl in red pajamas, or she could have been a sweet girl and let somebody else borrow the pants, because she's done that before. So she could be fine. So I calmed myself down and I got up and I said, but can I see her? Can I see her? And he said, no. And I told him, well, there's a chance that it's not her. There's definitely a chance that it's not her. She could still come home. And he said, no, there's not, because other people said that it was her. And I just told him, I'm not going to believe it until I see her. It could still be possible that she could come home. And I started crying again, and I called my mom, because in the midst of this, I called my mom because I wanted somebody to tell me what I was hearing. It just seemed like I was watching a movie, or I was dreaming, and I just wanted somebody to slap me or tell me, snap out of it. You're not, you're going crazy and this is not happening. So I called her, but she came and she lost it too. So she called my dad. My dad actually lives really close to us, and she was at his house. So she called him. He came over. He did not say one word. And all I wanted was somebody to help me comprehend what the detective was telling me, because I just couldn't comprehend it. I was listening to what he was saying. Like, I was hearing what he was saying, but I wasn't listening. It just didn't make any sense. I couldn't put two and two together. And then I thought about my oldest daughter, and how could I tell her? If I can't comprehend it, how am I going to tell her? And she's at work. So I called her and I try to get her home as soon as possible. And she just told me, no, Mom, I'm working. But she didn't know. I just said, hey, you have to come home. And she said, no, Mom, I'm working. I can't leave. I just can't leave. And I said, please tell them it's an emergency. I don't care if they fire you. I will fix it. I will fix it. Just please come home. I need you here now. And she was like, I can't. And I said, I will go get you. I will literally go get you. Please just get here. I will pay you for your date, but I need you to come now. In my mind, I just didn't want anyone else to find out before her sister. Or her sister find out while she's at work from someone else. So she said, okay, I'll come home. So I guess she talked to her management, but I felt like she was taking forever, and it's actually one street away where she used to work at. So I kept calling her, where are you? Where are you? Like, should I go pick you up? That's when she started noticing that something was wrong with my voice and something was wrong with me. And she said, no, Mom, no, you don't sound right. You don't sound okay. Don't come. So she got here and I had to tell her outside because I didn't want her to see my parents crying inside. So I had to tell her. But actually, I just remembered before all this, like, she knew that I called the hospital. So I don't know if she kind of had a feeling when I was telling her to come home, but that's how we found out.
How much older is his sister? And how did she, maybe obvious, but how did she react to the news?
She didn't believe it. She was like me. She was like, no, no. She just kept saying, no, my sister, not my sister. My sister always comes home. Like, this could never happen to my sister. It's just not my sister. And she looked at me and said the same thing that I said. She said, there's a chance. There's a chance that it couldn't be, like, it's not my sister. And I was honest with her. I said the same thing, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think it is. They're 2 years apart.
Yep. How has the last 18 months, March 2025, how has that been for you and the family? How have you managed? How have you processed things?
I have tried to. Well, as soon as everything happened, I actually, a nonprofit organization reached out to me. I was skeptical because of everything that was going on. I didn't know these people, and they reached out through Facebook. I was giving everything to my older brother. He's been in the Air Force and the Army. As soon as I told him, he didn't question it. He said, "I'm on my way." So he came, and when everything was happening, anybody who would call me, I would say, "Please answer." I just didn't really. I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't keep hearing, "I'm sorry for your loss," or "Are you okay?" Because clearly I was not okay. So I just said, "Please answer this." Or I'm grateful that there was people around me that would do that, because I could not. I only called a couple of people when it happened, which were family members. And some of them I didn't call, other family members called. But I feel like Eileen, she was shocked and still couldn't believe it. She just felt like it just couldn't be, this couldn't be our life. And I think we're still kind of in that same situation where we feel like this couldn't be our life.
Yeah. Prior to all this, Marcela, how do you remember Angelyn? How would you describe her to a stranger?
Sorry, I didn't even finish the last question. I have been coping with this the way that I've been working with nonprofit organizations, trying to work against gun violence. Since the day that it happened, right after they reached out to me, and I've been trying to work with them. They were surprised. They said that they had never had a mom that actually attended the day of the viewing to a meeting. And I did, because I kind of, I don't, I maybe I felt it in my heart, or maybe it was Angelyn. I attended to the meeting. They introduced themselves, told me what they were doing, why they were doing it, and I loved them. Till this day, I still work alongside with them, and I'm looking forward to keep working with them. I also
Are
have.
you able to tell us about that before? We'll get back to that other question in a moment, Marcela, but can you tell us about that? Like, what do they do and why do they do it?
Um, they they work with like against gun violence.
Yeah.
They try to help the youth and stuff like that. We have different things that they do. They, with me personally, if you're talking about what they did for me and for my daughter, I feel like they helped me without asking me for anything in return. That's why I love these people. To me, they're really close to my heart. They didn't ask for anything in return. They helped me with therapy. They helped me with food. They helped me with a little bit of money for the funeral. Not only that, after that, they welcomed me to their events. And when I told them that that helped me with my grief, and they have welcomed me into their circle to sometimes be there. And they don't pressure me. That's the thing, that they don't pressure me to come. They say, "Are you ready? Do you want to come? Can you come? And can you help?" But if I'm not ready, I don't have to go.
Yeah. So basically, any support that someone needs after being affected by gun violence, as you mentioned, all those different things they helped you with, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's in Dallas, they can help them.
Yeah. Okay. And that's work that you do today, Marcela, obviously, post Angelyn's passing, to help, I guess, or prevent this happening to others and bring that awareness.
Well, as soon as everything happened with her, well, not as soon, actually. Right after everything happened with her, I was in a really bad place, but I always knew that the mom that she knew would not give up. She would not give up. She would not give up on her, and she would not give up on her case or on the situation. So when they reached out to me and I learned the things that they were doing, I wanted to be a part. I wanted to be around people like them. Because in a sense I felt like, why would you care for me, or why does it matter? You don't really know me or my situation, but you wanted to help me and you care about us. Because whenever something like this happens to you and the newscast comes, they really don't tell you the whole story. They're going to crop it sometimes, or they're going to title it in a different way. The other people are not going to understand what happened. So I was kind of skeptical.
Did you find that with Angelyn's situation, that it was what was reported was quite
I
different
don't
to what
want
actually
to
happened?
I don't want to say that it was them. Maybe it was me, because I really wasn't ready. I have never done this in my life. I've never really wanted to be famous. I've never wanted to interview. No one prepared for this. I used to love crime shows, but I never prepared myself for, well, if this happens, this is what you're supposed to say, or what do you not say, when you're grieving. Personally, I did not want to be on camera. I did not want to give an interview. And they said, please, 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 like, what gets to the public is the mother. Because my oldest had said, okay, I will do it. And they said, no, but what gets to the people is the mother. And I just couldn't, because I couldn't even talk. Mind you, I had lost my voice. My voice was really raspy. I was super swollen from crying in days. I hadn't slept. Everything that I ate, I kept throwing up. So I just looked horrible, which I didn't care about what I looked like. But if I looked that way, what do you think my mindset was? I couldn't really concentrate on the questions or what I was saying. So I guess the public kind of like misconstrued the situation.
Yeah. For someone that may unfortunately find themselves in a similar position, Marcela, not necessarily directly with gun violence, but a loss of a child maybe, in a similar situation to yourself, what advice would you give to them based on your experience and what has happened to your family?
I would say don't allow anybody to dictate how you grieve. And then let your grief have the space that it needs. Most of all, don't give up on your child. I feel like as mothers, if we don't do it for them, no one else is going to do it for them. And our stories deserve to be heard. Our children's stories deserve to be heard. And if it's the exact same situation, our children deserve justice.
Speaking of, while we're talking about justice, and you don't have to go into specifics by any stretch, but has that been the case with the shooting situation?
This is a paid partnership with BetterHelp. Hey Luke and Ryan, life gets heavy sometimes, especially when grief hits. For me, that weight often shows up as anxiety.
Yeah, it's not always one big thing. Sometimes it's just life piling up, work, relationships, trying to hold it all together. Suddenly, I'm anxious and don't know why.
Totally. I used to think anxiety meant panic attacks, but for me, it's more like overthinking every choice or feeling like I'm never doing enough.
And it can even hit on good days. Out of nowhere, I'm spiraling over things that haven't even happened yet.
It's easy to feel alone in it, but you're not.
That's why we're talking about our paid partner, BetterHelp.
BetterHelp connects you with credentialed therapists who can help manage anxiety and more.
Most people go to BetterHelp for anxiety, and 69% feel better after just 6 weeks.
Getting started is simple. Fill out a quick questionnaire and get matched with a therapist. If it's not a fit, you can switch at any time.
Their support team is super responsive, and with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 Trustpilot rating, it's a platform you can count on.
So let BetterHelp help manage your anxiety so it doesn't manage you.
Click the link below or go to betterhelp.com/rememberingthem for 10% off your first month.
Unfortunately, no. We have not gotten justice. This is one of the main reasons why I'm also advocating for my daughter. It could be so easy for me to give up. It could have been so easy for me to give up in the beginning. A lot of people say, oh, if it was me, I would have passed away with my child. Or I couldn't have been able to live without my child. Newsflash, we can't either. A part of us passed away with our child. That person is never coming back. The person that I was, the mother that I was, passed away with her. And I really, really struggled with that because she was my youngest. I was not going to have any more kids. I can't have any more kids. And she's actually the only person that called me mommy. My oldest always, ever since she was little, she would always call me mom. So I struggled with it so much, thinking, am I still a mom? I only had one child that was dependent on me. So am I still a mom? And who am I now? I had my children very young. I had the oldest at 16 and Angelyn, I had her at 19. That was my whole entire life. So thinking, who am I now? Where do I go from here? How do I, like, what is the point of going to work? What is the point of making money? It's just so many questions. I used to cook with Angelyn, so I even forgot how to cook. I burnt an egg, and that is not like me. I lost myself in who I was without her. It was really hard. But in the end, I found that I am still the mother that she knew. I can still be the mother that she knew. I can still do stuff for her. So I go to the cemetery. I craft for her. I decorate for her. I talk to other grieving parents. I work with the nonprofit organization. In the future, I want to build a nonprofit organization for her. I also want to do so many things for her. I have so many ideas in my head. It's just that grief, my mind is really far away thinking of the possibilities sometimes. And then in other times, it's like, I'm so exhausted. So I want to build a nonprofit organization for her. I also want to I don't want to give you too much because hopefully this is the first thing that I do, but I want to do something for other grieving families, not only parents here in Dallas. And I think that she would really love that because she loved to help other people.
Sounds like you've got a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
I've also tried to. Well, my personal social media has actually. I realized a couple of weeks ago that it's not my social media. It's actually her social media because I don't post pictures of myself. I don't really post anything about myself, but at the same time I do because this is my life. What I do, I go and I visit her. I cut her grass. A lot of people find it weird. Well, not a lot, but I had one person tell me that it was kind of weird that I've cut her grass myself with scissors since she passed away. I do not let them mow her grass, and it's just I think that's okay. It's okay. I don't have to grieve like anyone else. I don't really care what anybody else thinks about me. As a mother, that's just who I am. I don't want anybody to be stepping on her. That's my child. I'm not ready for it. So there was a couple of months where I sat there and I cut her grass with the scissors until Eileen, my oldest, she brought me shears. And so I was still cutting it, and her friends would help me. So I kind of like decorate her stuff there, make everything by hand, I try to help other people. My whole world revolves around her. So I changed my social media to Justice for Angelyn on everything. I don't know where this is going to take me, but I hope that we can help other people in some sort of way, even if it's just that they can message me when they want, or in the future, if I have a nonprofit organization or anything else that I can do. I'm not having any more kids, so I have some free time.
Marcela, can I jump in?
Yeah, go.
Mark asked earlier, but I do want to hear what was Angelyn like as a daughter, as well as just I guess just describe her to me and Mark as two strangers.
Well, as a daughter, I would actually describe her more as like a person because she was always authentically herself ever since she was little. She wanted to dress herself. There was one time we went to a restaurant and there was teenagers that came up to us, and she was really little. And they were like, "Excuse me." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Did she dress herself or do you dress her like that?" Mind you, I had 2 daughters, so my oldest was not dressed that way. And I said, "No, she dresses herself when she wants to." And they said, "We love her outfit. We love her outfit." And she was wearing purple glasses and some little tights and some purple sparkly boots. But it looked like she styled herself. It didn't look like she just threw something on. She just styled it. And she grew into that. She never really changed. We've had other people ask us this question. Not only me and my oldest daughter, they also asked my nieces and nephews, and my nieces and nephews said the same thing. She never changed. She always knew who she was. She was always a perfectionist. She could not go to school without her hair being perfect or her makeup being perfect when she was a teenager. But when she was little, it was the same thing. She would cry if her hair had a little bump in it until we fixed it or she fixed it. And she was a perfectionist in everything. She taught me so many things that I never thought were possible from a small little child. She just knew who she was and what she wanted. But as a daughter,
go ahead.
I think as a daughter, I don't know if this is describing her, but she made me a better person. It's just kind of weird because we were so alike since we're both one day apart. We both had a little attitude, but at the same time, we like to help people. And when we love hard. And the thing is, sometimes we would get in little arguments, but then we would just be okay because we were so alike. And till this day, a lot of her friends that had never met me before, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, that is something that she would have said. Oh my gosh, you guys are so alike." But she was a really sweet girl.
What were some of her likes, Marcela? Things that she enjoyed in life? Some of her favorite things. You mentioned the fashion and styling itself, but other things that.
The Remembering Them podcast is supported by My Legacy Message. How do you want to be remembered? My Legacy Message provides a service that delivers a personalized keepsake video to your loved ones, often as a surprise after you pass. My Legacy Message, be remembered.
Other things that.
Yes, she loved makeup. Absolutely loved it. To the point that, I mean, I had done my makeup for a while, in my 20s and everything, or when I was a teen. But when she started doing makeup, I started noticing it was so flawless. So I asked her, and sometimes she would say, "Okay, well then give me a couple of dollars." So I would. Or if she did something wrong, then she would be like, "Okay, I'm sorry, mommy, I messed up. I will do your makeup." You just reminded me that that's one of the things she promised me before she passed, because I never wear eyelashes. And she took them a couple of days before she passed away. She messaged me and she said, "Mommy, I took your eyelashes, but I promise you I'm going to do your makeup one day." Mind you, I wasn't going out, so there was no reason why to, but I was like, "Okay." So she was into makeup. She was into clothes, but she was a perfectionist in everything. everything, even food. She knew. I could not trick this girl. I looked up TikToks about how to make box mashed potatoes really good. And she would come home and she would be like, these are box mashed potatoes. She wanted everything to be better. I don't think she wasn't like picky, because this happened right before she passed away. She was pushing me to be better, and I feel like she wanted me to know that, Mom, it's okay. You can make it without me. Even though I started cooking like crazy when she started doing that about the food. I had never cooked a Thanksgiving dinner. And she's like, Mom, I want to make a Thanksgiving dinner. And so I was like, no, I don't know how to cook a turkey. I don't know how to do this. And she was like, let's do it. Let's do it together. She pushed me to do it. Me and her, we cooked everything. And there was no reason why to do it. I think she wanted to show me it's okay. Like you could keep going.
Marcela, favorite story or memory that you have of Angelyn?
I have a lot. Besides cooking the Thanksgiving turkey. I don't know. I would have a lot. But I guess there's a funny story that also, I guess I should mention her friends, because her friends have been such a big part of my grief. I feel like when you grieve, everybody leaves, but because it's awkward, I have had friends that have told me, I just don't know how to talk to you or what to say to you. And they're my age, mind you. I'm not old, but her friends, they stuck around. Like, they stuck around. Sometimes I kind of got annoyed, like Angie. I was like, leave me alone. But they would call me and they're like, Mom, have you ate? Mom, did you go outside? Let's go to the gym. They have become like family to me. They call me Mom too. And I just feel like, other than that, I'm just so grateful for them,
Yeah.
But what was the question? Sorry.
If you had, only if something comes to mind, a favorite story or memory, or is there
Oh, okay.
something?
That's
Yeah.
it. Okay. So she was kind of funny, because at this time, her friends knew who I was, because we all live around each other. They knew who I was, but we were not close like this. They knew my phone number. They would call me Mom, but we were not as close as this. So if she didn't like anything that we made in the house, or she didn't want it, she would call her friend and say, hey, are you hungry? I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. And she'd be like, it's because they don't feed me. Mind you, she was a teenager. She was like, it's because they don't feed me. And so her friends would say, okay, fine, let's go. And she would always suggest McDonald's, because she loved McDonald's. I don't know why she loved McDonald's. And if her friends said no, she would be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Is there something wrong with you? You don't like McDonald's anymore? And her friends that's how they knew that she was kind of lying. Because when she passed away, when they told me, they were like, there's no way you guys didn't feed her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, she used to tell us to take her to go eat because you didn't feed her. And I was like, she was 17 years old. What do you mean? And he's like, well, we knew that was a lie, but she wanted to go eat some McDonald's. And then if I grounded her, she was just such a sweet. Yes, of course, she had her little moods, but she was just so pretty, and so I don't know how to explain it. She had such a glow, such a beautiful glow, and we all loved her so much that we could not tell her no. So I would ground her and I would take her phone. She would go to school and she would ask her little cousin for his phone, and he would let her borrow it. If she didn't see her little cousin, she would ask her best friend, and they would give it to her. And then she would come home and her sister would give her the phone. And there came a point where I saw that her older sister gave her the phone, so I took the phone. I took both of their phone. The funny part is that we were just going through their TV, and the oldest is like, "Oh, that's why we downloaded a TikTok on the TV, because you took our phones." But she always got her way because we all had this huge soft spot for her because she was our little princess.
Is there something, Marcela, that in general, or even a saying or something that just reminds you of her that is quintessentially Angelyn?
I'm so sorry, Eileen. She doesn't like. She did. We talked about this podcast, and she didn't really want me to say that, but there's something that she said to me that my mom and Eileen know, that she told me before she passed away. She didn't know she was going to pass away, but she just kept telling me, "Mom, I want you to go out. I want you to be happy. I want you to move on." Over and over again, all the time. Right before she passed, I literally had no life. I didn't go out. I just used to walk my dogs in the middle of the night, and she would tell me that she wanted me to date, and I said, "No, I'm happy here with you." And she was like, "Mom, you can't do that the rest of your life." In my mind, I could. So, but she kept begging me, and she just kept telling me, "I want you to do this. I want you to be happy. I want you to move on. I want you to date." And then right before she passed, there was, I think, a full moon or something. We went outside and we manifested together. And I was writing what she wanted me to say. Right now, this moment, I don't remember the first things, but one of the things that caught my eye and my attention was that she was telling me that I want willpower. This was for both of us. We were going to manifest just both of us. And in my head, I was like, willpower for what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you talking about? And it was literally days or weeks before she passed away. So I do know what she wanted from me. She's not going to get it yet, but
When you're ready. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy doing the work that I'm trying to do. I'm happy. It makes me my happy, not a regular person's happy. It makes me a little happy speaking about her, doing this podcast, and maybe helping somebody else, knowing that, like, for them to know that they're not alone, or doing anything for the community. That makes me a little happy. Doing things for her in her name. For now, I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but if it happens, it happens. I'm not out there. looking.
Yeah. Marcela, one final question for you for the podcast. Often our most difficult one, so take care in answering this and be kind to yourself, especially given quite a short period of time since Angelyn has passed. We normally ask our guests, if Angelyn was in front of you today, what would you say to her?
We were listening to your podcast. Well, I listened to your podcast when you guys first reached out. I listened to your podcast. I'm sorry, I was just not ready to, talk. But I listened to your podcast again, and I still have kind of the same answer. And mostly everything that we do, me and Eileen try to do it together. When it's like in a sense of Angeline, our birthdays and stuff like that, or I try as a mother to be on the same page as her. We said the same thing. I think we would want her to know, or I would want her to know that I love her more than anything in this universe. And the main thing is for her to know that I am not mad at her. I know whatever happened, it was not her fault. That I am immensely proud of her and the person that she was. There are no words to describe how she exceeded my expectations. The way that people describe her and the love that they have for her. Even though I told her every day, you're the sweetest girl in the world, I just never knew that side of her. But she became everything that I wanted her to be. She was kind. She was loving. She was accepting. She was selfless. Like, she didn't care for herself. She thought about others first. She's always been honest, but she was so loyal. And the way that people speak about her still to this day, the messages, there are no words to describe how proud I am, because that is who I wanted her to be. And that's who I've always wanted to be, but it just pushes me to be more like her, which is insane because I taught her that, but I want to be more like her, and I wish more people were more like her.
Well, thank you for sharing that and answering that difficult question. And thank you for coming onto the podcast. You did mention that it makes you, happy, the work that you do, and also sharing her story and hoping that it does help someone else to realize that they're not alone, which you, I'm assuming, would have felt at times since Angelyn's passing. So, and that's the whole premise of what we do and why we speak to people and remembering their loved ones that have been taken from us, in the hope that we do help someone else out there. And I have no doubt this conversation will help someone else, hopefully, realize that they're not alone in their grief. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing stories and memories of your daughter, Angelyn. We've really appreciated it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, Luke, that was Marcela from Dallas.
Thank you, Marcela. Thank you, Angela, and thank you,
Eileen, her sister.
Eileen. Sorry,
Yeah.
I did forget that. I wanted to catch. Oh, we had this is an off-air chat and a little segue into the Patreon, but we had an interesting chat about the gun violence and how we, as Aussies, we just can't relate. Like, it's so hard because we just don't. Our news, like maybe this morning, for whatever reason, there might have been like one shooting, like a house was shot up in Sydney. Like, that's what we hear, and it's like, oh, that's
That's
our gun
a big
violence.
thing. Yeah, it's like
That's a big thing. Yeah.
you
Whereas
hardly ever
over
hear it.
there, like, it's a daily thing. Like, this unfortunately, like the school shootings as well is just, it's just, yeah, it's wild. It's crazy, especially in a
It is
place
crazy for us. Yeah.
like Texas as well. Texas, I know, like, it's a little bit, Ryan's obviously the American expert here, but yeah, it's just a different ball game over there. It's completely crazy.
Yeah, we did talk about that, as you mentioned in the Patreon. Hard for us to relate given the strict legislation we have over here around guns and accessibility. I think that's the issue, is the accessibility. So that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But we did talk about that in the Patreon. You're reminded to jump on our Patreon, patreon.com/remembering them podcast. We had just a short chat with Marcela in the Patreon, a little bit more about her and Angelyn being very similar and their stubbornness. So that's behind a paywall. So $5 a month US, about $9 a month Australian for access to that. We do have some free content on there as well. So make sure you jump on and follow us on Patreon. Just a reminder, we do have the access to BetterHelp as a partner on the podcast, betterhelp.com/remembering them, which gives you 10% off your first month subscription and access to a credentialed therapist should you need someone in that space. We also have the My Legacy message service, mylegacymessage.com.au, to leave a video message to your loved ones, often a surprise after you pass. Reminder to also jump on and give us a rating and review, 5 stars ideally, so we show up on anyone that's searching for a grief-related conversation. Please share this episode of Marcela talking about her daughter Angelyn, so other people out there, and as she mentioned in the conversation, that if it helps someone else out there realize that they're not alone, then that makes her happy. So please make Marcela happy and share this episode so you can help other people that are going through something themselves in relation to grief. And a reminder to follow us on our socials, Remembering Them Podcast, on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. We'd appreciate the follow and support there. That's all of the things that we had to cover off. But thank you again, Marcela, for coming on and sharing stories and memories of Angelyn and what the unfortunate events that led up to her passing. Where on this side, we're excited to hear about all of the different things and initiatives that you've got planned and the work that you continue or plan to do to remember Angelyn, and different campaigning and all the other different things that you've got to remember her and I guess preserve her legacy. So thank you very much for jumping on, and also to small shout out to Eileen as well for I know you're talking to your mum about coming onto the podcast, so allowing us to share stories and memories of your sister and the beautiful person she was. So thank you so much, Luke, for jumping on and joining me. We hope Ryan enjoys Joe's birthday today. As I mentioned also, this is going to be rushed in a little bit next week before Angelyn and Marcela's birthdays on the 30th and 31st of August, respectively. And happy birthday in advance, Marcela. We hopefully it's not too painful. I know it's the day after your daughter's birthday, but hopefully you enjoy the birthday with family and friends, and obviously remember Angelyn fondly on her birthday.
I'm going to call it. Order some McDonald's.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Order some McDonald's because you didn't feed her at home. So enjoy the McDonald's.
I'm hungry now, just speaking of it.
Yeah. Good call, Luke. Good call. Thank you very much, mate. Enjoy your day and looking forward to the next conversation.
Can't wait. Love you, mate.
Love you. Bye.
The Remembering Them podcast is created for entertainment purposes. Mark, Ryan, and Luke are not licensed mental health professionals. If you would like to discuss your mental well-being, several resources are available in Australia. Information about these services are available in the podcast notes. Please take the time to contact your loved one today and tell them how much you appreciate and love them.